Hello all YouTubers, you have reached your weather dude, the weatherman that you can trust, helping you to understand your weather even better. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning back into this weather presentation for August 16th, 2019. As always, please don't forget to subscribe, as well as liking and sharing the video, and ringing the bell notifications. And as always, please look in the description for other videos of mine, with superior weather content they won't find anywhere else. And please consider watching the whole video because this will be my 11th, yes I can't believe it already, my 11th hurricane discussion for today's video. So I can't believe it, I come this far with all these hurricane discussions, and I'm really excited to share with you guys today. So I'm gonna hop right into it. And I know the past couple of hurricane discussions I never threw in my forecast, so I will be throwing that in on this one as well, and I'll probably throw it in towards the beginning, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Alright, let's hop right into it here, starting with our satellite imagery. And you can see all the Saharan dust as it's coming from the northern part of Africa. However, we're going to have to watch. There is a big tropical wave with some enhanced convection coming off the coast of Africa. We'll see by maybe tomorrow morning or late tonight and tomorrow morning how it holds out. But so far it's heading into some dry air. Now I did notice the dry air has been on the decreasing trend, but that doesn't mean it's gone per se. But we do have to watch closer to home. Gulf of Mexico, maybe even the Carolina coast could see some development that the National Hurricane Center isn't watching, but I am watching just in case. There's also a nice cluster of storms in the Caribbean and one out here in the Western Atlantic just north of the Lesser Antilles and one to the east of the Lesser Antilles. So we got some, a lot of areas to watch, a lot of areas of convection that we do need to keep an eye on. This map looks much more lit up than it did, say, about a couple weeks ago. So a lot of areas to watch, maybe like 5-6 of them. But I just circle any kind of convection in the Atlantic, any kind of convection in the Atlantic or Gulf of Mexico or the Caribbean this time of year is anything that we need to watch. Like any kind of convection, because that's how favorable conditions can be. So we're going to get to my forecast actually real quick, because I did say I'd show it to you towards the beginning. So our first column that we're going to look at here is average. The average named storms, and looks like a lot of people are outside, not from my place, but across the street. So if they're making noise, I'm sorry about that, but I'm trying to talk over them for you. But average named storms, average tropical storms every year is 12. Average amount of hurricanes every year is 6, and major hurricanes is 2 to 3. If you think about that, like 2 to 3 major hurricanes on average with 111 mile-an-hour winds or greater, like that's just a new norm at this point, and I find that very, very, awful that the hurricane season has come to this. But, and I also, by the way, if you didn't know, July 2019 was the warmest month on record across Earth. I will do another video about that later on, so be sure to stick around for that. I'm going to describe all the effects about it and how it got to that point and what caused it to happen and all that stuff. So, anyway, heading to the next column here, we got NOAA, that is the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration. Okay, I just didn't even practice saying that. I just threw it right off the top of my head. But that is what it stands for. But they have increased their chances of above normal season, which I'm going to show you right after this. 10 to 17 tropical storms potentially they're forecasting. To the left was average, the one we just saw. But this NOAA, TWC, and me, those three right columns are forecast. So 10 to 17 named storms by NOAA, 5 to 9 hurricanes, and potentially 2 to 4 major hurricanes. And let's briefly hop to that article. Where is it? Right here. NOAA increases chances for above normal hurricane season. This was about 8 days ago on August 8th. So NOAA forecasters monitoring oceanic and atmospheric patterns say conditions are now more favorable for above normal hurricane activity since El Nino has now ended. I'm trying not to get anything obscured by the camera here. 2 named storms that formed so far this year and the peak months of hurricane season, August through October, are now underway, with August pretty much being over. I don't really see anything forming or too much activity forming for the rest of August, but we went from 45% chance of above normal season to, from 30% chance of above normal season to 45. So that's a 15% jump. And near normal activity is now at 35%, but below normal activity has dropped to 20%. And you can see, just like I put in my little graph there, there's the forecast by NOAA. So that's just a little graph there. They are announcing that El Nino Pacific Ocean has ended and neutral conditions have returned. As you can see, we have had Andrea and Barry, but there could potentially be many more named storms still to come. Alright, back to my forecast. So TWC is the Weather Channel, on the right, very right is my forecast. I'll get to that in just a second. So TWC is the Weather Channel. They're on TV, Verizon, Comcast. Like, if you ever heard of them, like in the morning, maybe like Jim Cantori and all those people. But it's a really great weather channel. I recommend you check it out. That's actually on television. But if you never heard of them. But 14 named storms here. They're forecasting 7 hurricanes and 3 major hurricanes. They haven't updated in a couple months. I'm waiting for them maybe to release another update. And my forecast has changed a little bit. So this number, it depends when the hurricane activity starts ramping up. If I don't start to see activity starting to come together by the first couple weeks of September, on the right column where it says me, which is my forecast, that is probably going to drop. But right now, since El Nino has ended, dry air is starting to go away a little bit, ocean temperatures are slightly warming up, and we're losing the dry air, losing the wind shear, if I haven't said that already. 13, 16 named storms is possible, with 4 to 8 hurricanes and 2 to 3 major hurricanes is my call. I think that a lot of storms will form, but they will probably not really make it to hurricane status. So we might be above average in the named storm department, but maybe only average in the major hurricanes department. We might see a lot of storms. We just don't know if those storms would get that strong, but we will see a lot of them. Is the best way to describe this situation here. So with that being said, showed that already. Let's go to the GFS model. This is the 850 millibar vorticities, 500 millibar heights, and 200 millibar winds. Those are the little sticks that you see there. Where you see like the long and thin end of the stick, not where the lines going across are, but where you see those lines, those thin lines going out, that's the direction the wind is pointing in. So that's high up in the atmosphere. So if you see that cutting across a storm or a tropical storm, that's going to result in less hurricane activity and the storm weakening. So let's look at this here. So as we continue on, I don't see anything forming really. However, we do notice something near the Carolina coast. And this is something that I was watching, and something that we were all watching. Any kind of, meteorologist and weatherman like myself were watching. But it just didn't look like it was going to come together. But you can see it doesn't look too organized. But by the time it makes it up here, it becomes a little bit more circular. Now, in my opinion, I think it's going to be too much wind shear, not dry air to worry about. I think there's 2 things we have to worry about. Probably too much wind shear in that area, and due to the northern latitudes, I don't really think that the sea surface temperatures can handle that. Like, they're going to be just below 80. So I don't really think they can handle that. However, as you remember, earlier in the year, back in May, Andrea did form in the upper 70s water temperature. So it can happen, but you can see it becomes a little bit more circular as it passes just off the coast of Virginia Beach, just missing Maryland, Delaware, and Jersey, but could bring some potential rain there. But I think Monday overall is going to be like a warm and muggy day. But with that storm passing by that region, we could certainly see some enhanced waves. That will probably be a big factor as well. As a matter of fact, let's go to Wave Watch 3 and see what they're talking. So it looks like the 6, 7 plus foot waves from that storm, as you can see here, are looking to stay off the coast. But again, you could see a spotty wave going up 6 feet, maybe. Because that storm's always going to enhance. Whoa, no thank you. Sorry about that. But any storm that passes by there could certainly enhance the hurricane activity, or the wave activity. And the hurricane activity could be enhanced as well. So let's look at the GEFS. Now the point of showing this is looking at areas like the Gulf of Mexico, the Caribbean, the MDR, the main development region. Seeing, could there be enhanced convection? And the dry air looks to fade. As you can see, this color does start to fade. The Caribbean, the Gulf continues to stay wetter than average, at least through the end of August, and you see some enhanced convection over towards Africa, some above average precipitation. So, if there's above average precipitation, it's kind of area we can easily have some tropical systems possibly. We already got like several areas to watch right now. Again, the subtropics might look a little bit wet as well. Let me go back. Where did it go? Right here. Let's go to the European model and see what they were saying with that same storm by the Carolina coast. So here it is. This is 2 days from now, Sunday morning. The storm looks pretty impressive, and I do think it has potential for development. However, I think that the biggest problem is that it's just too close to land. And originally we thought it was going to form here in the Gulf of Mexico, in the northeastern Gulf, or maybe the Carolina coast. And it does look like that, but the storm just looks to hug the land, just too dangerously close that I think any significant tropical activity could form. We'll see if the 0Z run comes out overnight. I'll be sleeping, so. But tomorrow morning, I'm sure I'll be looking at this, maybe doing a video tomorrow or the next day, see if anything comes out of this. But again, by this point, by Monday morning, it's well on land. Again, could and potentially enhance a little bit of wave action along the mid-Atlantic coast, but other than that, that's about it. Maybe bring a little bit of rain, but look at this. Watch hour 96. It comes right out here. So maybe a tropical depression could possibly occur. And by Tuesday morning, it's right off the coast of Virginia Beach. Then it starts to pull out in a direction like this, hugging the Jersey and Delaware coast. So it's pretty interesting what the European model is calling for with this. Let's look at more high resolution modeling now, starting with the NAM 12km, then going even more high resolution with the NAM 3km. So you see some of these ones have some spinning going on, but the NAM model, you can see not much. They're not taking this too far. Here's a low center on 5Z. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. It's about right around midnight pretty much, with about 1014 or 1015 millibars of pressure. And where that circle is, that's where the low pressure center is. And again, here's your rain band straight to the east side. Doesn't look too organized really, but watch this. We start to get a little bit more organized. Okay, here's the low center now. Maybe 1013 or 1014, not much, but strengthening. But you can see that on the east side, we do have that rain influence on the east side. But even though there is rain on the east side, there's no rain getting wrapped around the northern side, or the northwestern side. So, not looking too organized, but definitely could see some enhanced wave action. And this is where it starts to get its act together. This is about 2 o'clock Monday morning, 1016, so maybe even 1011 or 1012 millibars of pressure as the rain starts to wrap around the storm a little bit. But I don't even think this is tropically strengthening. Maybe some coastal, maybe like a coastal storm type of event, but I don't think this could be any kind of tropical storm. Then it weakens a little bit, and then it's out of here. So let's go even more high resolution before I move on to my next map here. NAM 3km. This is even more high resolutionized. And you can see, as it starts to pull up, I'm seeing pressures of around 1013 or 1014 millibars at the most, sitting in this region right here. That's like the low center. And you can see some of the rain bands are trying to make it up towards the Maryland coast, the Delaware coast, the Jersey coast, but most of it's staying near the low pressure. Now remember, a subtropical storm, which is not organized, the rain goes far from the center. With a tropical storm, the rain stays close to the center, and that it is doing. The rain is staying pretty close to the center. We'll see about the storm track, but maybe pressure of around 1011 here, but I think for the most part it will stay offshore and at most enhance some waves. So, Southern Oscillation Index here. Basically, you have these numbers on 15 down to negative 20. Basically, it's pretty simple. +7 and -7 is neutral. -7 or below is El Nino, and +7 and greater is La Nina. And basically, we are in a neutral right now, going up towards a La Nina, but towards a La Nina, not being a La Nina. Trade winds, Central Pacific, are above average, a La Nina factor. We still have El Nino and La Nina factors in place. And you can see here, again, inactive phase. So neither one right now, El Nino or La Nina, at this point. As of now, maybe like a neutral phase. Bahamas, Western Caribbean, and the Gulf of Mexico have been significantly heating up over the past couple weeks, as was the Carolina coastline and parts of the Western Atlantic. Southeastern Caribbean has been cooling down a little bit, but nothing that's gonna, slow major hurricane activity. Look at the sea surface temperatures. 32 near the Bahamas, southern Florida, and Cuba. There's a little bullseye there in the Central Gulf that's also 32 degrees Celsius, which is like 90, if not a little bit above 90. Now, with that tropical system I was showing you earlier, potential tropical system, like right here on the Carolina coastline, right here, okay. As I was showing you, it's gonna stay on land maybe on the Carolina coast. if it could just get a little bit farther out to sea. Can a high pressure to the east of it just weaken a little bit, enough for it to get dried off the coast just a little bit? If it can, 30 degrees sea surface temperatures all the way up until it reaches just east of about Maryland, Delaware, and New Jersey, and then it probably would weaken from there once you lose those 80 degrees sea surface temperatures and once you start to get that wind shear in place. How about the tropical Atlantic? CDAS data says really cold off the coast of Africa, North Atlantic, or subtropics and tropical Atlantic looking warmer. However, I'll show you another one, the NOAA, the 50 km observations are pretty much looking the opposite. So you can see we do have near the MDR, we do have some 80-degree ocean temperatures, especially as you get towards the western main development region. But if as soon as those waves emerge off of Africa, they're going to encounter some 70-degree waters or 75. But once they get to the west, then they start to strengthen more with some 80-degree plus sea surface temperatures. And again, here's the same map. Okay, so I showed that one already. Again, that's the Western Atlantic as well. So here's a 50 km observation. And as you can see here, towards Africa, it's actually looking a little bit warmer. And the Northern Atlantic is looking warmer right now, based off of yesterday. Gulf of Mexico is warmer, Caribbean's warmer, Western Atlantic is warmer. So this is saying we do have some warmer conditions with, again, that Nino 3-4 region showing neutral, if not almost bending towards a La Nina at this point, but bending towards it, not necessarily being a La Nina. So as the latest graph here, negative 0.154. Ooh. So about another negative 0.4, and that's a La Nina. Okay, let's go to next map. Tropical Intensity Index. So, are we in favorable conditions for development? Answer is Northeastern Gulf, Western Gulf, yes. Southeastern Gulf, no. Western Caribbean, Southwestern Caribbean, yes. And parts of the Western Atlantic, yes. And off the Carolina coast, yes. And that's as far out as this map goes. But here's a 7-day precipitation. Look at all these reds. But not just the precipitation total. Not just the total of the precip. But look at how the precipitation moves. Look at how it tracks. It tracks in a northeasterly direction like this. It's spreading from southwest to northeast. Could that be from a low pressure system that is off the coast? Could that be from a tropical system? We don't know. If it can form in the next day or two, then it could be. But if not, it's looking a little bit late at this point. Dry air, there is a significant amount of it, but it is definitely like weakening. And if that wave can break through, that tropical wave breaks through that dry air, again, wave in the Caribbean, wave in the Gulf, wave off the southeastern Carolina coast, wave off the Lesser Antilles, and wave out here. It just looks too far out to be sure, but we do need to watch out for some potential strong tropical waves. Oceanic heat, oh, we definitely have that in the Caribbean. Here's another look. Again, Western Caribbean, Gulf of Mexico, especially in the central part. Significant oceanic heat, way more than we had in 2017, way more. And 2017 was an active season, and we have more ocean heat than that, more energy. As I said, wind shear could be trouble for that tropical system off the Carolina coast. Even the Caribbean is looking like some high wind shears right now. So, I think at this point, the main obstacle for these tropical waves is wind shear, not as much dry air at this point. So here's the wind shear, and that's been going up a little bit in the Caribbean. You can see that line just kind of jetting up a little bit. So we do have a little bit of increase in wind shear, but overall, as usual, as it should happen, since the spring, we definitely had a noticeable drop in the wind shear in the Caribbean, which that's what should happen. And let me be honest with you, if it wasn't for wind shear, then maybe a little bit of dry air, you could probably have a tropical system form in the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean in the wintertime if it wasn't for that wind shear. Potentially, it might be a little bit cold for that, but it's possible. So February, March, tropical Atlantic, a lot of wind shear. We have come down to about 10-15 knots since then. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoy it. Please stay tuned for my next video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. And don't forget to look at my 2019-2020 winter forecast number 1. I'll be doing a few more after that. I am the Weather Dude, signing off. Till next time, catch you guys soon. And stay tuned for my July 2019 video.